Hello everybody, this is week 6 pardon me, tutorial online. Now I'm live for people to talk to, but at the moment we don't have anybody who's joined in, probably because it's the day after Easter and everyone's got other stuff to do. So what I thought I might do is I'm just recording now. Some people might come in part the way through, but I'll just talk you through a few of the things. Oh, here we go. Here's Claire Marie. Hi, Claire Marie. How you going? Oh, I can't hear you.
Good, thank you.
Oh, good. That's good. Claire Marie, you're the only person who's joined. I'd already started recording because people, because I wasn't sure if anybody would join today, given it's the day after Easter and everyone's busy with assessment and so forth. Yeah. So I was just about to get started on just talking through a few things, but have you got any questions first?
I do have one. It was in regards to the assignment, how you have to put, like, I was looking at SurveyMonkey, and it limits you to doing 10 questions. If you want to do more than 10 questions, you have to go to the premium.
Oh.
So you can only do 10 questions. And I just didn't know what other applications, I saw there are other ones, but I wasn't quite sure if they had the same thing as well.
Okay, well, probably you can say that you're going to use SurveyMonkey. You can use SurveyMonkey to help you design the questions and explain how you're going to do it. You don't actually have to design, for the assignment, you just need to tell me what questions you're going to ask. So you don't actually have to have that designed in SurveyMonkey.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
so you can look in at SurveyMonkey and that'll help you think about how to structure your questions and using their question banks or, you know, how they like things done. So you can put all of your questions in, just delete them as you go through, if you know what I mean. And then just in your assignment actually just explain, you know, what questions you're going to use and the fact that you're going to use SurveyMonkey as a tool. Does that sound all right?
Yeah, that sounds good. Thanks.
Yeah, that's cool. No worries. Anything else?
No, that's all.
Okay, all right. Well, listen, I'll just talk through this, and then if you've got any questions, you can ask. I don't know if we'll get anyone else come in, so I'll just quickly talk through. So today, this session is based on the sampling lecture. I don't really have a lot more to say. It's super complicated. The lecture was quite complicated as well. I thought rather than actually having to go through and do these massive calculations, it's very rare that you would actually have to do those sort of calculations in a job. It's important for you to know how they are arrived at and where you can find them if you need them for any reason and what influences them, like variability and sample size and things like that. But it's not actually critical for you you wouldn't be doing that on a regular basis. You'd go into something like this. So I'm sharing my screen and I shared as a tutorial exercise just to go in and have a look at the sample size calculator, because this is a really easy way of giving you some interesting, you know, some good facts without having to do all the calculations yourself. And that's what a normal statistician would do. They'd have a special application or they'd use something like this. So I'll just clear that. So they give you the option of 95 or 99% confidence level, which is, I discussed that in the lecture, that's standard. And I thought I'll try a couple of different ways. So it can give you a sample size from knowing some information. So if I was looking at, say, if we had 2 million people, that's a massive number of people we need to sample, but we're happy with our confidence interval to be 0.05, which is fairly standard. If you put an end to that, you really, for 2 million people to sample with a confidence interval of 0.05, you only actually need a sample size of 385 with a confidence level of 95%. If you change that to 99%, you need 664. So I thought that was actually that's the sort of calculation that you'd normally use. And I thought, you know, in the end, this is what you want to learn, is how you would normally calculate these things rather than having to plug your way through really tricky maths. I don't expect you to be plugging your way through maths in your assignments either. It's just a case of demonstrating that you understand what influences what sample size you need, what are the key things that you need. So if you think your group is much the same, if you think that, you know, overall, like I say, when I'm trying to think of a good example for variability, but if you think, thinking about variability in terms of cruise ship people, I'm just thinking that, you know, cruise ship people are very similar in a lot of ways. They probably have quite similar things, so their variability might not be particularly high. Well, there might be some people who really love the food and really hate the food, so there might be quite a lot of variable on a food question maybe, but there might be less variability in, say, you know, did you like the swimming pool? Because most people will probably say yes. Maybe everyone will say no. It probably depends on their experience. But I guess, yeah, they're the sort of things that you just need to show your understanding of. In the end, that's what it's about, is that you need to demonstrate that you understand what influences your decision to calculate a sample size as what it is. Does that make sense, Claire? Marie? Claire Marie. Sorry, I always think of you as Claire. Okay, now, so that's essentially all I wanted to talk about there. The Statistics Learning Centre, again, I genuinely think probably is a bit more helpful in terms of explaining things quite well. So they're really good on the Moodle site. Have a look at those. And I also just want to draw your attention, while I have this on share screen, to the assessment block. Oh, no, I don't want to edit it, sorry. In assessment 2, well, in all of them actually, we have, there is you can download the briefing notes there, and that's really quite useful because it has the marking rubric at the end. So if you happen to have missed that, I'm just drawing your attention to it, and it's really valuable. That's in for both of the written assessments that you have to submit. So that's useful when you're thinking about, you know, how much work to put into each section of your assessment. Now, the other half of what I thought I might talk about today was just thinking about SPSS and thinking about your assessment 3. Now, I have just used as I introduced in the last tutorial, this is just an SPSS database that I have of some research of mine. And it's got some similar scales and things in it that I can demonstrate some things on, which might help you with assessment 3. So I looked up, here we go. So this is assessment 3's questions on page 351 of the textbook. And I just thought I might go through and think about the same sort of questions applied to this database, and that might give you some help in terms of getting through the assessment. So actually, before I move on to assessment 3, have you got any questions about assessment 2? Anything else, Claire Marie?
No, I think I'm all good at the moment.
Yeah, okay, cool. All right then. So assessment 3 is based on these 6 questions. They're relatively straightforward, and this is a fairly straightforward thing. So don't get too concerned or worried about the complexity of it. What I'm looking for, and as I put into the marking rubric as well, is that you do the data analysis, and then you understand what it means by writing an explanatory couple of sentences or paragraph or whatever. So the demographic composition of the sample, okay, so straight up, I'll take you through that one. Now, I won't use the global motors one because that's just giving you the answers. So I'll try it with this one and just see if I can give you a bit of a hand, all right? So this is my SPSS database. So I'm in variable view right now, so you can see that I've got, these are all the different variables in the name column. So in here I have their postcode, their gender. I'm thinking about demographic things. So a demographic composition is usually people's, it's telling us the story or giving us a picture of what people are and what they're like, who they are. So their gender, where they live, what age they are, what occupation they have, and there's education in there as well. So there's some key pieces of information that we can draw a picture about our sample from. Now, in the global motors one, what we know is their gender, marital status, number of people in their family, age category, education category, income and dwelling type. Okay, so they're all things, they're all called demographics, and they're all things that you can do some analysis on. So I'll show you how you will do this in this one, and it'll be very similar in that one. So you have in theirs, they have gender is 0 or 1. Okay, so male is 0 and female is 1. So when you open the global motors one, they'll have that. In mine, gender male is 1. Yeah, I can double click on that. Oh no, I can't. Well, how do I normally open that? Go into variable view. Sorry, I usually just click on that and that opens up for me. I don't know why it's not opening for me right now. Oh, okay. Cancel. No, that's not what I want. I want that one. Meh. Oh, thank you. I think I had to click on a certain part of it. Okay, so in here I have 1 equals male and 2 equals female, right? So in mine it's 1 is male and 2 is female. In the global motors one, 0 is male and 1 is female. And that's fine. It just, you have to understand how to read it when the statistics come out the other side. Okay, so we can look at gender as a really standard one here. If we go into analyse, and we're going to do descriptive statistics, we can look at frequencies and we can look at descriptives. So we'll probably just try frequencies at the moment. I was just fiddling around before, so we'll get rid of that and go to gender. Okay, there we go. This is really straightforward. I just go into so that list of variables there where I've selected that from is the same as the list that's down in the name column. Okay, so I can just choose the one of those that I want. Later on, you can choose a range of different ones and you put them all in and it'll report on all of them together for you, so you don't have to do them one at a time. But I'll just do this one just as a straight up one first. Charts, yep, I've decided, how about we go a pie chart for this one? That might be nice. And I've decided I'd like that in percentages, okay? So I can say I've got 51, 49% male, female, or I can say frequencies is a little less meaningful because I might have 230 females and 270 males or something like that, and that doesn't really give me an understanding of the proportion, so percentage is probably better for that. So I can go okay. What else do I want to know? I can say that I'd like to know the mode and the mean. Oh, the mean's nothing actually, or I can find out the mode, but I'll know that straight away anyway. So the mode is the value that appears most often. And in a male and female one, obviously if it's 51% female or something, then the mode is going to be the female one. So it's really straightforward. So we don't need to know any of that for something that's straight up. Maximum minimum is not really important for male and female because we've only got 2 values. Range, variance, standard deviation, none of those are valuable for this. So we can just go like that and we can go okay. And here we go, we have a little graph and it just automatically outputs that for us. Male, female, so it gives us a table with the frequency anyway. Our graph shows the percentage. So male, so I've got 53.3% females. The valid percentage, so it's actually taken removed a couple of values that maybe didn't have a complete data set around it. So the valid percentage is more useful. So there's a missing value there of 1.9%, 10 missing values for whatever reason. So there we go. So that's really easy, isn't it? That's a straightforward thing to do. So you get quite good at this and you can actually just play and play and play with it. So you might go, okay, all right, that's really interesting. Now I might want to try some more frequencies. And you don't need to use absolutely everything in SPSS. It gets really, really complicated. It's good just to use some really key things to help you. So in doing demographics, you usually use descriptive statistics. That's what that is. So we've used gender, so I can put that back now. And maybe I just want to do a whole picture of my entire database quite quickly. So I might say, right, I want to know what region they're from. I'll put that across. I want to know, I don't want to know the year they're born because that's not very useful, but I've classed them into generation. That might be useful, yeah? So I know if Gen Xers are different to baby boomers, for example. I can have a look at their occupation. I can look at their education. They're sort of the main ones, I guess. I've already looked at their gender, so there's that's to give me some basic ideas, all right? So I can go, and I don't want pie charts for all those. I might want bar charts for the rest of them, and I like them in percentages still. For this, I might be interested in knowing, oh, what have I got? They're all nominal categories, aren't they? So that means they're named categories. So understanding the mean, the average, or the most frequent. Well, the most frequent might be interesting, but in the end, it's not really that valuable to me. It's really when I'm calculating means, averages, that sort of stuff's interesting when we're rating on scales from 1 to 5 or whatever. So I can just go like that and go okay, and out pops the results. Now you can see down the left-hand side here, I've been doing lots just to practice and have a look at before I did this today. So this gives me a huge like table of contents of every other analysis I've done down the left-hand side. So the most recent one is we've got the frequency tables and then the bar charts. So the frequency tables I just did, all right, I've got 17.6% of my sample is from Australia. Valid is 17.9, so in the end you just use the valid one. We've got 29.2% European, and so on and so forth. In Gen Y, I've got a huge percentage in my sample of Gen Ys because my sample was talking to people using the city in Cairns, and there's a lot of backpackers, so that actually makes lots of sense. I've got the occupation, so here you can see my biggest self-employed, 26.9. They were backpackers, so I think they're probably having a lend of me. They're probably not employed at all, but education, I've got quite a high percentage of people with a degree in my sample, and so you can see then I can look at this and I can start drawing some things. So this indicates that my sample is quite an educated sample, that they've completed a third, tertiary level education, that they have, that they're mostly self-employed. So you can see I can start weaving a story around that, and I can write a paragraph that describes the sample, and that's what we're looking for. So what you need to do for your report is go, right, now I've got some nice graphs. Now I can just copy that graph. See this? Copy, and I can go across into Word. What have I got in Word? Okay, so these are the pictures I was going to show you. So I'll just do a new document, and I can paste my, oh, no, I can't. Oh, that's unusual. I usually, everything's changing now. I'm doing it and people can actually see me. That's very disappointing. I normally just copy that. Copy special as an image. Maybe that'll work. Paste special picture. Okay. Oh, there we go. It's my Mac, it does things differently. So when you're thinking about doing this too in your, you don't have to do it exactly like that. If you want to get super fancy, and I certainly don't care if you don't, you can actually say, for example, take this table, you can export it into Excel, or you can actually just copy and go into Excel. Oh, here we go. Close, minimize that, and we'll get a new workbook. and paste, and that gives me the table there. So if you don't like the graphs that are generated by SPSS and you want to do something nicer, you can copy the table into Excel, and then you can make a graph that hasn't copied properly for some reason. There we go. And I should be able to go, don't know if this will let me do this or not. Command, percentage, oh no. Oh, geez. All right, man. You never do go this slow when no one's watching you. Okay. And then we can insert a chart. Hopefully. Yeah, you have to fiddle with it to get your columns and so forth right. But I guess what I'm trying to show you is that you can just copy these charts straight out of SPSS and paste them straight into Excel if you want to fiddle with them in terms of your presentation or anything like that. I don't think there's any need. I'm more than happy for you to just show me these as they have come out of SPSS. That shows that you've done the stuff. But you may want to change the title, which I usually can also do. Geez, I'm really having a bad day today when it comes to this stuff. But regardless, I don't mind if you leave the title there for your assignment. I'm pretty sure that maybe if you're not using a Mac, you can actually just click on region and change it. But you need to refer to your graph. So this is graph 1, region of origin of sample or something like that. Okay, it's really important that, and then in your work, you say graph 1 shows that there are more European. Okay, and yeah, and spelled correctly as well. So it's really important to show that you actually interpreting the data properly, and that you're referring to the graphs that you're finding. Okay, so in this case, we've got graphs showing generation, occupation, education, and they show really clear signs. Okay, so you can use that to go, all right, loads of people got diplomas and degrees. Then you can go back to the actual frequency table and go education. Here we go, diplomas and degrees, it's exactly 41.2%. So we can say, in this case, Australia, New Zealand, European, okay, it's a valid percentage of 29.2. 29.2% of the sample are Europeans. Okay, and you can draw some conclusions about that. So that's basically descriptive statistics. That's the sort of stuff that I'm hoping that you're going to be able to give me. Most importantly, I want you to name your graphs, I want you to refer to your graphs, and I want you to interpret your graphs. So not only do you have to produce them, but you also have to interpret them. Okay, I'll minimise that and that. Hello, Shane, can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry I was late.
That's
I
all
got
right.
held up by something.
Can you see what I'm talking about?
Actually, I had a question about SPSS.
Sure.
I was wondering how you would recommend actually getting it. Because I've been looking around, it seems to be like $50 just for a trial pack.
Yeah. Shane, have you got any access to a campus?
Yeah, but the closest one is it's in Noosa.
Is this the conversation? I had this conversation with you the other day, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's over an hour away, so
it's hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
There is a 14-day trial one for free I saw the other day. I don't know. I don't know where I found the link, but there was one.
14-hour trial?
14-day.
Yeah, 14-day trial. That was a free online or something.
It changes a bit, Shane. I'm not 100% sure. It's a little bit like a textbook. It's one of those things that has to be purchased as part of the course. Like I said to you last time, at a pinch, if you think you can get this done in Excel, then it might be worth the 1 hour drive to Noosa just to get the data out of SPSS, or I could probably, no, actually, stupid me, I can actually just export that database into Excel for you, and I can email it to you or make it available if that's of use to you. It's a lot faster, easier in SPSS, but if you really honestly can't afford it, you should be able to do, if you think you're capable enough in Excel. I can't spend a lot of time sort of going through how you might do that in Excel, but if you think you're capable enough, then you could probably do that if you'd like.
I'm not exactly that capable of Excel at all, really. I don't like it.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'd like to get SPSS, but yeah, the textbook costs enough. I don't understand why.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And I'm, as I say, it was not, it's something that's probably going to change, but this subject, by the time it got to a point where someone was actually in charge of it, like, which is me, we'd already published what was required, and we weren't allowed or able to rescind that. Once we've published what we're doing, we have to, so if we say we're going to do SPSS and teach people how to do it, we have to follow through on that. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Look in the. You did, didn't you? Because I think we had this conversation. You've had a look.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Options. If you try and find a 14-day trial or download a version for 14-day trial from IBM, can you see that on the Moodle site there? Did you give that a go? Did that work?
On the Moodle site?
Yeah. If you look on assessment 3, I've just clicked on it now, if you can see my screen. There you go. That might... Yep, that's in English there. So if you've got, I don't know if you've got Windows or Mac.
Yeah.
But there's get your IBM SPSS 14-day trial in 3 minutes or less. So it looks like you should be able to give that a shot. I can't sort of trial that for you because I've already got SPSS loaded on my machine, and it'll stuff it up. It doesn't like multiple versions very much. But perhaps if you click on that link and try that, that might work for you.
Yeah.
All right. And you just need to try and get your data analysis. So think really carefully about the next couple of lectures, I think, are on sort of basic descriptive statistics and doing some hypothesis testing and so forth. So I'm trying to get those done and loaded this week. So you may want to have a look, wait until those are up and you've had a look at them before you download this, so then you've got the maximum time to actually get the work done.
Yeah, so the SPSS stuff, it's only for assignment 2, right?
3.
Assignment 3, I mean, yeah.
That's right, that's it.
Okay.
And I'm just doing these tutorials to try and give people a bit of a heads up, and this is something that people can refer back to if they want to. So I've just basically outlined how you go about doing descriptive, finding descriptive statistics, which is the first question here in assessment 3. Okay, so what is the demographic composition of the sample? That's what I've just been, I've recorded this session, and that's what I've just been talking about. Is I've taken a different one. I've taken my same database I was showing you last time we were talking, but I've just done a demographic composition of that, and you should be able to do the same thing in your global motors one as well, when you can download it. Do you have any more questions, Shane?
No, not at the moment. I'm just sort of working on assignment 1 now. Just getting started on it today.
Assessment 2. Yeah, don't worry. I keep getting confused too. Every time people start saying assessment 2 or 3, I'm like, oh, far. Yeah, okay. No, that's good. So if you've got further questions, I've just posted about that in the forum for assessment 2 because I had a few questions about word counts. And what was the other thing? There was word counts and So the word count doesn't have to include, if you're feeling a bit pressured and you need to try and squeeze down your word count, you don't have to include your references or your summary. If you're feeling, you really will get penalised if you go way over 2,500 words, because that should be plenty to give you that information. And sampling plan as well. So I think we already discussed sampling plan too. So that should have come through to you perhaps on the email. So
yeah, I had the same problem with my last assessment that I was working on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is it better now? Or
it's less than it was.
okay. Excellent. All right then. Okay, so well look, hopefully that sort of clarified things for people anyway, that that forum post. If you've got any further questions, then just let me know. I wouldn't stress too much. The other thing, as I pointed out to in that post as well, was that in the assessment, if you just click on assessment 2, you go down the bottom, there's briefing notes. You click on that and it'll bring up your marking rubric. So when you're really concerned about trying to answer all the questions, this gives you a good idea of where you should be focusing your efforts. So, you know, this is the bit where, you know, I can only allocate you, if you've got a fantastically presented report, I can still only allocate you 3 marks for it. So just think about that when you're thinking about how you're structuring it and so forth, and that should give you a fairly strong guidance, I think. As long as, for example, you know, I'm asking for 4 academic references in the literature review. And you get 8 marks for the literature review. So clearly, if you fall short and only provide me 3 decent academic references, I'll probably only be able to give you 6 marks. And you'd have to reference them quite well and show that you've understood them. So it's really in your best interest to at least provide 4, because then I can give 2 marks per reference if they've been referenced correctly and you've shown evidence that you've read it and understand it. So that's what that means. All right, look, I've just done the descriptive statistics today. I'm over time now, so hopefully that should be enough to go on with. And next week I might go into the next stage of that, which is starting to think about how to analyse Likert scales and looking at you know, how people's rating scales and how people feel about things, looking at means and so forth. And so, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Is there anything else I can help you with, Shane?
No, I'm fine.
Groovy. All right.
Oh wait, sorry, just remembered the survey. Is there any advice on where to get participants?
Oh, like how to source your participants?
Yeah, because I know quite a few people who have gone on cruises before, and it's actually a pretty broad range of people, several different demographics in there. So I was wondering if I could just ask them. You know, there's like 10 or 15 people that I know.
You don't have to administer it. You just have to design it.
Oh, design it.
Yeah. Woohoo!
Okay.
No, I think I said it in there somewhere. Please note, you do not have to administer this assignment. Here we go. Please note that you do not need to conduct the survey or produce a report. This assessment is the first part of the marketing research report, the marketing research plan. Yep, so this is just how you plan to source participants.
Okay, so where do we get the data for the second assignment though?
The second assignment is a pre-made data set about global voters, and you download it. There's a link to that if you click in the Moodle site. Here. Click on assessment 3. Can you see my screen, Shane? Because I can't see you.
Yeah.
Read the case from page 349. After reading the case, download the SPSS file and use that. So it's a pre-made SPSS file.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I must seem really unprepared. I've just been so absorbed in my other subject, trying to get this group assignment done. I ended up being the one guy who gets everything done in the group again.
I was always that person. You're preaching to the choir. It's totally fine. And this is, you've still got plenty of time. You know, if you're just starting to get into it, it's no worries. But you do need to make sure that you've got the SPSS. So this one's due on the 30th of May. So it's a little way off yet, but you do want to make sure that you've got SPSS available to you in the time that you really need it to do the actual work. So
I'll make sure to download it within the last couple of weeks of term.
Yeah,
that way I've got it right until the end.
Yeah, but the only thing is that you got to remember that leaving questions for me to the last minute is a little bit tricky, because I will tell you that in that last 2 weeks, I am teaching a block course all day, every day. And so face-to-face, and so I'm not going to be as available as I usually am. So in
that case, it's probably better to go for the 2-month trial or something, pay the $49 or something.
Yeah, look, I'm still happy to help you, and I can still do it. Like, it's no problem, but you just don't want to be asking me 2 days before it's due.
I understand that.
Problem. So you get it for 14 days, do it early in that 14 days. So if you've got problems, we can discuss it. Yeah. Awesome. All right. Okay. Well, good luck with getting everything finished, and I'll talk to you next week.
Okay, thanks.
You're happy? Yeah?
Yep.
All right, mate. Okay. See you.
All right. See you.
Oh, you're there, Claire Marie. Sorry, you disappeared off my participants list. So are you okay, Claire Marie?
I'm all good.
Yeah? Did you understand my descriptive statistics?
Yeah, it was really good. Really helpful.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I'll look at the next question next week and see if we can do a bit on that.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
All right. See you.
Bye.